Okay, now another thing that you can do once you open the door and you shut it is look at the open the door again, look at the interior, and look if you see if it looks like it has a deep soiling that is not just something that could be vacuumed out, like take it to your car wash and vacuum it out, but look in the crevices and the cracks and see if there's particles of debris, and it just looks like it's uncared for. That way, the upholstery is, of course, ripped, torn. How does it look? You may see a cigarette hole here and there. That might not necessarily, if that's all that there is, be a bad thing, because perhaps this was used as a fleet vehicle, high mileage, and only carried one passenger at a time. That could be a very good vehicle if that's the case. Look at the door jambs when you open the door. They're two different colors of paint or two different shades of paint. If that's the case, it may have been wrecked and repaired. Look at the brake pedals, clutch pedal, gas pedal. Do they seem to be excessively worn? Is there any metal showing through? That indicates a very high mileage or a very high degree of stop and go driving, that kind of thing. Okay, look around there and see if that looks pretty good. Look at the odometer, see what kind of miles it indicates, which could or could not be accurate, but given the other indicators, you can tell if it's factual or not. Look for any knobs missing on the dash and on the radio, any controls. Knobs missing, broken. That could tell you about the kind of usage that the vehicle's had. Okay, now pop the hood, get the hood release and pop it. Pop the trunk release, and let's go back outside the car. Okay, stand in front of the car and look towards the windshield. Now look at the tires. Uh, do the tires look like they're aligned together? In other words, is one tire pointing outside the fender of the car while the other tire is pointing straight? Is the tread worn unevenly on the tires? Do the tires look like they're in good condition? If there's like severe wear on the tires unevenly, that is, or one tire is out of line with the other tire, that could be a sign of some pretty serious neglect. Okay, pop the hood, uh, look under the hood and see what the engine looks like. You say, well, it looks pretty good. There's no dirt or anything anywhere. Okay, that could have been steam cleaned. Look at the what's called the intake manifold. That's a metal part that's on top of the car. Looks like it might have some tubes coming through it or from it. And if that's pitted, it's not like looks like a new grayish aluminum, but it looks whitish with little spots all over it. That's an indication that the car's been exposed to water and a long time of a humid environment, uh, possibly some road salt and things thrown up on the engine, but not necessarily a bad thing in itself if it's an older car. But you can see that the steam cleaning did not remove the age, just some grime and some dirt. If it has been steam cleaned, then look around and see if you see any frayed wires, any burnt wiring, any cracks in tubing or hoses, any fresh oil leaks around any fittings or water leaks around any fittings. Look for those kind of things. Could indicate some problems if you buy the car. Now, one thing you want to look in the alternator. The alternator is a kind of a big round uh, device with wires going to it, with a fan belt on it or a serpentine belt on it, and it has some openings, and in those openings you can see wires in there. Now look in those wires. Do you see an accumulation of grit and grime in that wiring? If you do, you can see the true age of this car, unless it's had a replacement alternator. If the alternator is brand new and the rest of the engine compartment you can see that it's older. Well, you know it's been replaced. But if the engine compartment looks pretty good, and you see this grime and this grit in the wiring of the alternator, you can tell that it is has been through quite a bit of use, and it kind of belies the engine cleaning belies the fact that uh, it is older and has been through a lot of use. But the alternator is a pretty good indicator right there of the true age of that car, the usage of that engine. Okay, one little thing that I saw the other day. I was looking at a car for a person. I noticed that the little hose that goes up to the ports that spray the windshield cleaner on your windshield, the hose was completely missing. I couldn't even see where it came from the engine compartment. There's a little rubber hose that comes up that connects to a connection just under your hood, and those connections go to those two little ports that spray windshield washer fluid on your windshield. Well, that was completely missing, which told me that this person that owned this car did not even care enough about washing their windshield that they would have that attended to, which immediately I closed the hood and I didn't want to see any more about that car, because just about anybody that is takes proper care of their car wants to be able to clean their windshield from time to time in a difficult situation road-wise with rain and slush and mud and different things. You want to get that off your windshield sometimes, and if you don't have that replaced and have that in order, then there's going to be neglect somewhere else too. Before you close the engine compartment, pull the dipstick out, look at the oil. Is the oil black? If the oil is black, forget it, get another car. If the oil is just slightly brown, that could be nearing an oil change in itself. Not really good or bad, but at least it's not black. And given with all the other factors, the car still a candidate, or the vehicle is still a candidate to purchase. Okay, close the hood. Now it's time to drive the car. Okay, first thing you want to do, you want to make sure that there's no radio on when you test drive this car, because if you have the radio on, it could cover noises and things that you want to be aware of. Remember, this is not a fun drive. This is a business transaction that you're involved in. So turn the radio off, turn the fan off, turn the AC off, make sure everything's off before you start the car. Uh, Turn the key, see how it sounds when it starts up. Does it start up smoothly, quickly? Should be fuel injected. Most modern cars are. Should do pretty well in that department. So see how that does. Okay, now that get your seat adjusted and get your mirrors adjusted and your belt on and everything, now you're ready to go. Put it in gear. And does it lurch in gear? Does it take a minute before it goes in? How does it go in gear? Does it engage quietly and smoothly? You're doing pretty good. Okay, make sure the emergency brake's off, and let's get ready to go and ease out. And when you get on the road, listen for the shifting of the transmission. Does the transmission shift smoothly without you having to take your foot off the gas so it can shift, assuming it's automatic? How does that sound? Do pretty good? Good. Do you hear any noises? Do you hear any scraping noises or anything? Does the steering wheel vibrate in your hands? Is there any vibrations going on? How does everything sound that way? No noises. That's pretty good. Okay, now we want to drive, and we want to find a spot that we can park, maybe a Walmart parking lot or some large parking lot, and find you an area that's you have some room around you, and some place where the pavement is clean. park and sit there for about a minute with the engine running. While you're sitting there, you can check your control cluster, see if there's any lights on, any warning lights. How's your temperature light look? No low oil pressure, anything like that. Okay, now that you've sat there for a minute, it's time to back up and pull alongside the place where you just were. Do you see any spots on that clean pavement? Any fluid leakage? If you don't see anything, you pretty much got a clean bill of health. So looks pretty good for this vehicle. Okay, now I'm going to go back to where you're going to buy it. If it's at a private owner, you can always get some indication by the place that they live, the house that they live. Is the house well cared for? If it is, the car has probably been well cared for. I know I always like to buy cars from school teachers or people that are like an accountant, someone that's in a fairly innocuous occupation. Uh, they're normally people that adhere to maintenance schedules and take care of the vehicles. I hope this helps you out with buying your used car. And if you have any questions or anything, leave me a comment, and we'll see what we can do. This is the Bumpkin in Chief.